Welcome to the Practice Playbook Podcast, your go-to resource for legal professionals, mediators, and entrepreneurial experts building modern, profitable, and purpose-driven businesses. I'm your host, Susan Guthrie, attorney, mediator, and #1 best-selling author with over 35 years of experience. I'm a former chair of the ABA section of dispute resolution, and I've helped thousands of professionals build practices they love through my books, coaching, and training programs. Each week, I'll bring you real-world strategies, mindset shifts, and behind-the-scenes insights to help you grow with clarity, confidence, and impact. Let's dive in. Welcome back, everyone, to the Practice Playbook Podcast. Well, we're here still at the very beginning of 2026, and this is the moment when most professionals are either setting themselves up for growth or unknowingly locking themselves into another year of reacting instead of leading. So today's episode grew directly out of the work I just completed as I finished up the third book in the Practice Playbook Series, and that is the Business Planning Playbook. I want to start with one insight that fundamentally shaped that book. A business plan is not a one-and-done document. It's not something you create, check off your list, and revisit only when things begin to feel broken. A business plan is a living, evolving strategy because your practice does not exist in a vacuum. The world around it and in which it functions is constantly changing. And that is where today's conversation comes in. I'll be talking about the 3 hottest trends that are shaping dispute resolution in 2026. And more importantly, how you can actively use them to inform, update, and strengthen your business plan this year and beyond. All right, so let's dive in right away and get into the one that I know you know I'm going to talk about. Artificial intelligence, AI. I can't talk about emerging trends or trends, it's not emerging, but trends in dispute resolution in the world without talking about AI. AI is now infrastructure, right? It is now something that is actually a part of what we do. Here's what we know about AI today. Major institutions are already using AI to support things like intake, clause drafting, panelist matching, scheduling, and case management. The American Arbitration Association, for example, has rolled out AI-supported tools and even blockchain-based authentication to address growing concerns about AI-generated evidence and document integrity. Online dispute resolution platforms are also using machine learning to move cases faster and more consistently, particularly in high-volume matters. The key point I want you to hear is this. AI is not replacing your judgment. It is augmenting it. For those who did not listen to last week's episode with Lawrence Collin, go listen to that episode. Lawrence is the person who has adopted technology, who has a booming business, but who very much believes fundamentally that what brings people to accord is the human element. And I agree with him. That episode has gotten a wonderful response for a reason. So go back and listen to that. Keep in mind, AI is not replacing your judgment or the judgment of your clients. It is there to augment it. So used responsibly, AI supports better preparation, stronger pattern recognition, and more efficient workflows. And it frees you up to do the human work that only you can do. From a business perspective, this matters because clients increasingly expect their neutrals to be technologically competent, not tech obsessed, but tech capable. A practice that feels outdated in a digital world will struggle with confidence, credibility, and perceived value. Saying all that does not mean that ethics don't matter. Ethics absolutely still matter. Confidentiality still matters. Transparency still matters. But refusing to engage with AI at all is no longer a neutral position. It is at this point a strategic decision and often not a good one. Now, I'll have more to say about AI, and hopefully in a way that's going to be exciting for you all as we move into the other two trends. Because trend number 2 is also something you've heard me talk about, but we're going to talk about it a little differently today, and that is moving beyond hourly billing and how AI, our pal, our AI tools, helps you to rethink your pricing strategically. I want to talk about pricing because honestly, this is where many of you feel stuck. There's a reason why this was the first book in the Practice Playbook Series, why I wrote the flat fee playbook, although it's not just about flat fees. But the reason that was the first book is because the number one thing that people come to me for in private coaching or the consulting work that I do usually has something to do around their fees. In fact, yesterday I had 2 new clients and this was what they wanted to talk about, right? So when people hear flat fees, if you're out there cringing when you hear me talk about flat fees, usually that is because people assume it's about underpricing their work or forcing complex matters that you handle into rigid boxes. And that is not what the trend is about. The real shift happening in 2026 is this. Hourly billing is no longer the default expectation. Clients are not asking, what is your hourly rate? They are asking, what will this cost? What does that include? And what problem does it solve? In response, institutions and forward-thinking practitioners are embracing a wide range of pricing models beyond that billable hour, including flat or bundled fees, full day or multi-day packages, tiered services, retainers, subscription models, and hybrids that combine a base fee with scoped add-ons. In fact, organizations like CPR and AAA are already reflecting this shift with simplified and predictable pricing structures. So I want to be clear. This is not about charging less. It's about charging differently. And this is where AI becomes a powerful strategic tool for you. Using what many platforms call deep research, you can analyze your own practice to identify patterns in time investment, scope creep, outcomes, and revenue. AI can surface where hourly billing is misaligned with effort or value, and where alternative models might actually improve both profitability and, importantly, your client's experience. So once you've done that work, then you can use learning mode in the AI tools to help you explore innovative pricing models used across dispute resolution and related professional services, walking you through the pros, the cons, to help you understand which structures align best with your goals. And finally, AI can then support your implementation of these innovative pricing structures by helping you define scope of service, draft clear client-facing explanations of those fees, stress test pricing scenarios, and build guardrails that protect your profitability. So this is exactly why pricing plays such a central role in my business planning playbook, right? This is all tied together because these are the things that bring you to growing your practice in the new year. Pricing is never just about numbers. It's about positioning, sustainability, and building trust with those clients. Always remember, hourly billing rewards duration. Innovative pricing rewards clarity, structure, and really importantly, your value. Trend number 3, specialization is driving growth. That is a trend that we are seeing very strongly, and AI can help you become the go-to practitioner, not in the way you're probably thinking. So keep an open mind. The third major trend shaping dispute resolution is specialization. Generalists will always have a place in our field, but growth, visibility, and premium opportunities are increasingly going to practitioners who develop depth in specific high-demand areas. And those areas are evolving in the world that we live in right now. 3 areas, I think, stand out. First one being data privacy and cybersecurity disputes, right? I think we're going to see a lot of that. Labor and employment conflicts driven by remote work, pay equity laws, and organizational change, and may I say, the use of artificial intelligence in employment decisions. And environmental, social governance, ESG, and sustainability disputes, where obligations are now contractual and enforceable. So 3 areas: data privacy and cybersecurity disputes, labor and employment conflicts, and ESG, environmental, social, governance, and sustainability disputes. Providers like JAMS, AAA, and CPR are already signaling where demand is heading based on the programs they're building. So AI can dramatically shorten the path from your curiosity to your credibility in these areas. Let's go back. Use that deep research tool, and you can analyze emerging dispute trends, regulatory changes, and industry signals to identify where new opportunities are forming. These are the ones right now, I tell you, they will be coming at us fast and furious because the world is changing so quickly. So I've talked about this before, but it's not about just how things like AI and technology are changing our world, our practice. It is changing the world and the businesses that we serve and the people that we serve. So as that continues to change and evolve, their needs will change and evolve, and you need to stay on top of that. So do your deep research, analyze those trends, analyze for the areas to identify where those new opportunities are forming, and then use the learning mode that's available in these tools so you can map out what you need to know to be credible, to be a go-to person in those areas. It'll help you with key laws, industry language, pain points, training paths, certifications, and thought leadership gaps. This is not about becoming an expert overnight, but it is about becoming intentional, informed, and positioned as you move your practice forward. And this is where everything comes back to that business planning. Your strategy for the coming year. Emerging practice areas should inform your services, and then your pricing, your marketing, and your professional development. Your static business plan, doing the same thing you've always been doing, cannot do that. A living plan, a strategic plan can. So here's what I've done to make this easy for you, to make it as practical as possible. I've created a free downloadable handout that goes along with this episode. And it includes sample AI prompts that you can use right now on those second 2 emerging hot topics areas here in our practice. You can use it to evaluate your pricing, explore innovative pricing models, research emerging practice areas, and design a learning path to become a go-to practitioner in those emerging practice areas. You're going to find the link in the show notes. So go to the show notes and you can download that handout with all of those sample prompts to get you started. Now, before we wrap up, I want to summarize into the golden nuggets. You guys seem to love the golden nuggets, and I think that there's value in at a high level going over what I want your key takeaways to be. First off, your business plan is never finished. It must evolve as the field evolves, as your practice evolves, and that is a constant. Second, AI is not just an efficiency tool, it can be a strategic partner in the planning, pricing, and positioning of your practice. And third, I believe this, the future belongs to practitioners who adapt intentionally and strategically rather than reacting defensively. I will also point out that I really want everyone to know that half the value, at least, of a business plan is the exercise of doing it, not the final product you end up with it. It will walk you through a variety of questions and thought processes and creating strategies that you don't do in your everyday practice. You can stretch it out and do it over as much time as you want to do. It doesn't have to be done overnight. In fact, the Business Planning Playbook includes an entire section on not just completing an initial business plan, but how to build in ongoing reviews and adjustments. So this episode is part of a much bigger conversation about building a future-ready dispute resolution practice. If this resonated, perhaps you might want to explore the Business Planning Playbook and the rest of the Practice Playbook Series, the Flat Fee Playbook, and the Thought Leadership Playbook. Again, it is not a coincidence that those were the first three books that I created in the Playbook Series. It is because those are the three areas that often are the biggest roadblocks for practitioners. I also want you all to know that I'm going to be doing the first Ask Susan Anything New Year Practice Building Focus on February 2nd. It's a free webinar. Anyone can come. Please let your friends know about it. February 2nd happens to be Groundhog Day, which I thought was the perfect day. Because for any of you who have seen the Groundhog Day movie, where Bill Murray woke up every day and it was the same, we tend to do that with our practices. So we are going to bust Groundhog Day in the Ask Susan Anything. You can bring your questions. I'm going to get to as many of them as I can. But I think even if you hear what we're talking about and sharing with whomever does get to ask questions, it's always a great way to get insights into what's happening. So understand the future of dispute resolution and your practice is not waiting. It's unfolding all around us. And this is how you can stay on top of it, build your strategies for growth in the new year, and really take it to the next level for your 2026. I hope this was helpful to you all. I'll see you in the next episode of the Practice Playbook Podcast. Thanks so much for listening to the Practice Playbook Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love it if you'd take a moment to leave a review, follow the show, or share it with a colleague who's ready to build the practice of their dreams. If you want more support and tools like the ones you heard today, join the waitlist for the Practice Accelerator, my brand new subscription program packed with resources to help you grow smarter. You can find the link in the show notes or visit susaneguthrie.com to learn more. Until next time, stay focused, stay intentional, and remember, success starts with the right playbook.